Tonight at 5, day 3 of the Darrell Brooks trial begins with an apology, and more witnesses take the stand to explain what they saw. We'll take you to the courtroom.
Plus, we hear from Baraboo High School students involved in a homecoming tradition that took a dark turn. Why some families believe racial issues were at play.
And the January 6th committee preparing for what could be its final public hearing this week. The new revelations from a former police officer injured in the attack. You're watching News 3 now at 5.
We start hearing just some people yelling, "Stop that car," and the next thing you know, from my left, going down the road, you see a red SUV just go straight through the parade.
It is day 3 of the Darrell Brooks trial, continuing today with several more witnesses testifying.
Before witnesses took the stand this morning, the defendant gave an apology. Brooks apologized to the court and everyone watching the proceedings for the way he acted last week. He repeatedly interrupted proceedings during the first week of the trial. Today, Kyle Jewell was one of the witnesses who took the stand. Jewell was watching the parade from the sidewalk when he said he saw Brooks's SUV come down the street and drive into a marching band. We want to warn you, some of the details you are about to hear are disturbing.
Did you see any people being struck by the SUV?
Yes.
Did you see any objects flying in the air?
I didn't see any objects flying in the air. I saw the red SUV going over people.
Okay, can you describe that for us, please?
Yeah, so the van had just passed us, red SUV going, again, this is just an estimate, maybe 30, 40 miles an hour, just went straight over the Waukesha South Band, and it's not like it stopped. I mean, it went over. I saw the red SUV. It looked like it went in the air, like over a pretty big object, and it just was like a big old speed bump and kept going.
You can follow along and watch a live stream of the trial on channel3000.com and on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Baraboo High School students think of TPing as a homecoming tradition. Well, last Wednesday it turned into a nightmare when several adults stepped in to stop it with some extreme methods.
Well, Naomi Coles talked with some of the students who were there that night and explains why families now believe there was a racial issue at play here as well. Naomi?
That's right. A school official was one of 3 adults initially arrested last week after claims they forced 5 kids out of their car. School activities director, athletic director Jim Langkamp wasn't charged, but another adult was accused of using a flamethrower and screaming profanities as he claimed to conduct a so-called citizen's arrest. The students involved are terrified. They hadn't even stopped their car yet when they say John Kohler, now charged, shot flames out of his flamethrower when they drove past his previously TP'd house. He and other adults forced the car to stop. 2 of the students ran. 2 others were forced onto the ground. The one white student was not.
They stopped the car and they're shoving their hands in the car and they're yelling at me to turn off the engine. And I'm panicking, so I can't turn. I was fumbling with the keys, and by the time I got to the keys and turned it, I didn't put the car in park. And so they're still yelling at me the entire time.
They have all said that they feared for their lives, and that should not happen.
Another adult that the boys say was involved, again, was school athletic director Langkamp. He stopped the car, they said, and used their names. 3 mothers have filed restraining orders against Langkamp on the student's behalf, and he's now on non-disciplinary leave as the school investigates. Hear more from those families at 6 o'clock.
Naomi, thank you. Let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti out on the weather patio. Gary?
Looking pretty nice out here. Lots of sunshine and temperatures are comfortable. Let's take a look at visible cloud track across Wisconsin. Very little in the way of clouds other than the northern part of the state, and even those dissipated this afternoon, and not a drop of rain anywhere across the upper Midwest. But that will change tomorrow. Now, there's the possibility for an isolated shower or thunderstorm late tomorrow afternoon. The better chances will be tomorrow night, and the Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk or a level 1 risk for an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm with wind and hail being the main threats. But right now, I think the threat across southern Wisconsin is pretty low. I'll show you a little bit more about that later on. Temperatures right now are very comfortable. Mid-60s to around 70 degrees. A little warmer again in the southwestern part of the state. A little cooler closer to Lake Michigan, where temperatures are in the upper 50s, but across Dane County, Madison's at 66, 67 degrees in Cross Plains, and 67 right now in Oregon. Look for skies to remain mostly clear this evening. Temperatures will drop off into the lower 50s by late evening. We'll sneak in one more mild day tomorrow before big changes on the way for the end of the week. I'll have more on that in just a few minutes.
A woman who was killed in a crash outside of Sauk City last week has been identified. Medical examiners say 33-year-old Chelsea Kovacic died from her injuries. The crash happened last Tuesday on US 12 near Highway 188 in the town of Roxbury. Officials say a driver was trying to turn left onto US 12 when they hit Kovacic's vehicle. After her vehicle rolled over, she was ejected and later died from her injuries. An 18-year-old was arrested over the weekend after police say he tried to kidnap someone. Officers say the man and another person met at County Grove Park to exchange property. The man allegedly forced the victim into a car, took their phone, and drove them to Dodgeville. Police say the suspect then drove the victim back to the park where they were able to call for help. The suspect was later arrested and is facing several charges, including kidnapping and strangulation.
New at 5, Fitchburg Mayor Aaron Richardson announces today he will not run for re-election in the spring. Richardson, who is running for state treasurer, thanked the people of Fitchburg in a statement saying, quote, "It is hard to describe how much it means to have earned your confidence and trust. Thank you for making Fitchburg one of Wisconsin's true gems." Now, Richardson was elected mayor in 2019. While in office, he made advances in affordable housing, transitions to renewable energy, and helped raise the pride flag over City Hall in Fitchburg for the first time. We often say don't forget to head to the polls on Election Day. Physically getting there, though, and actually voting, that's difficult for many.
It's why the city of Madison is committed to the goal of meeting people where they are when it comes to elections. Tahlil Mohuddin explains.
City leaders say they want people to know about voting accessibility options now. That way voters know how to use them and figure out which ones make the most sense for them. To name a few, the city offers curbside voting if you find it difficult to access the polling room, Express Vote, which offers ballots in Braille and Spanish with headphones, and you can even ask for help if you struggle to physically mark your ballot. The city uses guidance from Disability Rights Wisconsin to complete a polling place checklist and to make sure special machines are set up properly.
If we hear from folks that they work with that those machines aren't set up or set up properly, we make sure that we get on that right away and get that fixed on Election Day, because sometimes, you know, machines, they have some issues, so it might be just a matter of changing out battery packs.
Also, state requirements in place that govern Election Day accessibility, specifically focused on equipment setup and wayfinding. The Wisconsin Elections Commission also monitors and provides feedback for improvement through accessibility auditors. For anyone voting absentee, the clerk's office recommends sending your ballots back as soon as possible by mail no later than 10 days before the election, or if you can, drop it off at the clerk's office before October 25th.
Tahlil Mohuddin in the news center tonight. Tahlil, thank you.
Former Wisconsin Parole Commission Chairman John Tate has been hired as Madison's first ever independent police monitor. The position was created in September 2020 by the city's Common Council to oversee the Madison Police Department's compliance with internal policies and procedures. As independent police monitor, Tate will be asked to review incidents in which force is used, oversee the processing of citizen complaints, and ensure that reviews of the department's policing are independent. There is some controversy with this choice, and we'll explain why and have reaction tonight at 10.
Today, Governor Evers released a video statement celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day.
We are a better state when we support one another, respect tribal sovereignty and our tribal neighbors, and when we work together to build the sort of state we want to live in.
He has his brothers sitting there.
In 2019, Governor Evers designated the second Monday in October a day to honor Indigenous peoples of Wisconsin and nationwide. There are more than 11 federally recognized Native American tribes in Wisconsin, as well as the Brothertown Indian Nation, which does not have federal recognition. Former Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant facing a subpoena. Now, this is related to Brett Favre's fraud case. The NFL Hall of Famer caught up in a civil suit over an alleged multi-million-dollar welfare fraud scandal. Attorneys for the defendant, Austin Smith, say they want to see communication between the ex-governor and athlete. The state is suing Austin Smith the return of more than $425,000. It's also accusing Favre of pressuring a company in which he was invested to seek nonprofit money. A former police officer who responded to the January 6th attacks on the U.S. Capitol has released secretly recorded audio from a meeting with House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy.
It comes ahead of what could be the last public hearing for the House committee investigating the riots. Natalie Brand has the details.
This happened to you.
In a new interview with CBS News, Michael Fanone vowed to keep speaking out about what happened on January 6th until the perpetrators of the attack are held responsible.
I continue to talk about it because I haven't accomplished what I set out to accomplish.
The former D.C. Metropolitan Police officer who nearly died that day is sharing audio he surreptitiously recorded during a June 2021 meeting with House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy and officers who responded on January 6th. The mother of Brian Sicknick, the officer who died of a stroke after the attack, asked McCarthy why President Trump did not call off the mob.
He knew what was going on. He knew they were fighting for hours and hours and hours. You know, I just, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
I did that moment, and I don't know, I wasn't here, but I'm just telling you from my phone call, I don't know that he did know that at that point.
Fanone has written a new memoir, Hold the Line, The Insurrection and One Cop's Battle for America's Soul. In it, he describes a separate meeting with Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. He was asked about that on CBS Mornings.
You know, he did kind of fly off the handle and say that you know, he gave us guns and that we should have shot all these protesters in the head.
This all comes ahead of what could be the final public hearing held by the House Select Committee investigating January 6th, scheduled for Thursday.
We've received a huge amount of documents from the Secret Service and have learned some additional things. I think it will shed some light on the events of the day and the events leading up to it.
The January 6th committee has until the end of the year to issue its final report. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
CBS News reached out to congressional offices of Representative Kevin McCarthy and Senator Lindsey Graham, but have not heard back.
Still to come, Gary has our latest forecast. That's next at 5.
Plus, the White House is closely monitoring the latest Russian attacks on Ukraine after several civilian areas were targeted by Russian missiles.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average opens the week by losing 94 points. The NASDAQ tumbles 110. S&P 500 falls 27. We'll be right back.
Vitense Golfland offers 2 golf and multi-sport simulator suites. Play great golf courses with unmatched viewing clarity. Play different sports such as football and soccer. Have fun with Zombie Ball. Vitense Golfland provides simulator fun for everyone.
I'm Mandela Barnes, and I approve this message.
Ron Johnson caught lying. Independent fact checks call his attacks on Mandela Barnes false and misleading. But it's Johnson's views that are alarming. Johnson supported a ban on abortions. He co-sponsored a bill that makes no exceptions for rape, incest, or the life of the woman. And Johnson said if women don't like it, they can move. The truth is, it's Ron Johnson who doesn't belong in Wisconsin.
Everything seems to be getting more and more expensive these days. And it's the same for your heating bills. Since it will cost more to heat your home this winter, USA Insulation wants to give you control over your utility bills. Our premium injection foam keeps the cold outside and your warm, comfortable air inside, right where it belongs. Call now before winter and get a $500 early bird discount.
USA Insulation.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland, as in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor.
Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it, Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face with every meal made just for you.
It really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Nice.
I'm Joe. I'm from Wisconsin, and I've been a Republican for my entire life. Tim Michels is way too extreme for the people of Wisconsin. I'm very concerned about Tim Michels. He has refused to say that the 2020 election was legitimate or that future elections will be legitimate. Tim Michels supports no exceptions for rape, incest, and that is unacceptable.
Republican Accountability PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Vitense Golfland offers 2 golf and multi-sport simulator suites. Play great golf courses with unmatched viewing clarity. Play different sports such as football and soccer. Have fun with Zombie Ball. Vitense Golfland provides simulator fun for everyone.
Continuing coverage, some students call for the dismissal of their school's athletic director following his arrest by Baraboo police. News 3 dives into the incident and looks at what's to come next in the case tonight at 6.
You don't see your body in the same way after you go on the dance floor.
Spinning new possibilities on the dance floor. Charlotte Deleste shows you how a woman with mobility challenges is making her mark and helping others like her to experience ballroom bliss. Tonight at 10. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Deadly demonstrations against Iran's ruling regime are into their fourth week. The unrest began after 22-year-old Mahsa Amini died in the custody of Iran's morality police. Security forces continue to respond with force, killing those supporting the protest, firing rubber bullets at students. A New York doctor is offering online medical advice because many of the injured won't go to hospitals for fear of being detained.
Kind of instructions on what to do with burns, with bullets. I put posts on gunshot wounds to the chest, one post on the abdomen today.
Despite the risks, resistance is spreading. Hackers interrupted state-run TV, asking viewers to join them and stand up. And more women are symbolically strolling the streets without their required headscarves. Russian President Vladimir Putin is threatening more attacks on Ukraine after unleashing a barrage of deadly strikes across the war-torn country today.
Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Massive explosions rocking power lines in Dnipro, Ukraine, sending debris raining down on top of drivers frozen in their tracks. In Zaporizhia, flames raged from the rubble of an apartment building, reduced to ruins after strikes from Russian rockets. And unsettling images reveal children's playground equipment among smoldering, scorched earth. These are just a few of the lethal attacks unleashed across Ukraine by Russian forces targeting power plants, bridges, and other infrastructure, the heaviest since Russia began its invasion of Ukraine.
They're trying to spread chaos and panic. They want to annihilate our energy supplies. They're hopeless. Their second target is our people. They specifically selected this time in order to hit us the hardest.
Russia says the attacks are in response to the bombing of the Kerch Bridge linking Russia and Crimea on Saturday. Kyiv has not claimed responsibility for that blast.
All assigned targets are hit.
A senior Biden administration official says the White House is closely monitoring the attacks and finds them troubling.
We're in touch almost daily with the Ukrainians, and we're going to continue to provide them security assistance.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is set to address an emergency meeting with the G7 nations tomorrow, where he says he plans to, quote, tell about the terrorist attacks by the Russian Federation.
More than a dozen U.S. airport websites were temporarily knocked offline this morning, and Russian-speaking hackers are claiming responsibility. The hack affected 14 websites, including those for major airports in both Atlanta and Los Angeles. There were no immediate signs of impact to actual air travel, but it may have impacted people seeking travel information. The hacking group, known as KillNet, listed multiple airports as targets. The group also claimed responsibility last week for knocking out U.S. state government websites, as well as briefly immobilizing a U.S. Congress website in July.
Nearly 2 weeks after Ian made landfall, Florida communities are still dealing with the impact. Ian killed more than 100. Officials say that death toll could still rise as they search through debris. Across the state, more than 25,000 people are still without power. The water has receded here in Orlo Vista in central Florida near Orlando, and now volunteers are helping residents sort through their waterlogged homes.
The hurricane came and destroyed it. This one was one of the worst.
We're just here trying to provide some assistance to them because we know they've been devastated.
In other places, floodwaters are still swamping homes. Governor Ron DeSantis says it's worse inland, where 20 inches of rain had nowhere to go. As cleanup from Ian continues, experts are concerned about the storm's effect on mental health as well. The state is opening support centers, and the federal government has set up a distress helpline. Well, let's get a look at our certified most accurate weather. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi joins us with the forecast. Gary?
Today's one of those great fall days you'd love to keep in the forecast, but unfortunately, we only have about one more day of that ahead. But tomorrow, it'll be windy with high temperatures in the 70s, so even warmer than today. Now, there is an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm late tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Better chances for showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow night and into Wednesday morning. That's with the passage of a cold front, and after that passes, we're back to below normal temperatures starting on Thursday and probably lasting through most, if not all, of next week. On Doppler track, Not a drop of rain or a flake of snow anywhere across the upper Midwest. However, tomorrow, the Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal or level 1 risk across for severe thunderstorms across most of the upper Midwest, including almost the entire state of Wisconsin from the National Weather Service. Hail and high wind would be the main threat, but I think the threat is lowest across southern Wisconsin. It's a little higher to the north and west, and here's the reason why. If we take a look at future track, notice the absence of clouds right now. As we head through later tonight, some moisture starts to return from the south, starting to generate a few clouds, and there'll also be a couple of showers out across Minnesota. But as we head into tomorrow afternoon, notice there might be a spotty shower or thunderstorm and a spot or two. Most areas should stay dry. And if we had severe weather, the afternoon time would be the most likely time for severe weather here. Once you start getting into the latter part of the night, especially you get after midnight, the atmosphere cools down, and that's when the severe weather threat is least. Well, here's the cold front. You can see the wind shift out to the west, and then a line of showers and thunderstorms develops along it. So this might be the area that's most likely to see any strongest severe thunderstorms. This is at midnight tomorrow night, but notice at that time, the rest of southern Wisconsin pretty much free of precipitation. And then as the cold front starts to come through, the showers behind it just kind of weaken, and you see some spotty showers that could linger into at least Thursday evening or Wednesday evening. But at this point, it looks like the severe weather threat is going to be pretty low around here. Planning your night, look for clear skies, low temperature 47 in Madison, 49 Monona, 49 degrees in Oregon. Across the rest of southern Wisconsin, a little warmer out to the west, 53 La Crosse, 50 in Lone Rock, and 51 for the overnight low temperature in Platteville. For tomorrow, partly sunny skies, windy and mild, winds out of the south 15 to 25 miles per hour, high temperature up to 73, and just a slight chance for a late afternoon or evening shower or thunderstorm. Future track beginning at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Again, maybe a spotty shower or two here or there, but the better chances for rain start to come in after midnight. So this is midnight. Here comes that cold front from the north and west. A little better chance for some scattered showers or thunderstorms. But again, at 4 o'clock in the morning, this is a time where the atmosphere is a little bit cooler, so the severe weather threat is less. We'll continue a shower or thunderstorm chance through tomorrow morning. Then once that front barrels on through afternoon, notice how skies actually clear out. There could be a spotty shower later in the afternoon into Wednesday evening. But the rainfall, because of the fast movement of the storms, generally about 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain, maybe a few spots getting around 1/2 inch of rain. Otherwise, the 7 to 10 day forecast, definitely colder, down to 51 for a high Thursday, 31 for a low Friday night or Thursday night, and then Friday a high of 52. A little brief warm up Saturday, and then even colder weather. Highs in the 40s, nighttime low temperatures in the 20s for the first part of next week, but at least next week looks to be dry. As we check out first warn traffic right now, didn't see any problems on the Beltline, just a little bit of a slowdown, the usual eastbound spot around Monona Drive. Otherwise, as far as travel times are concerned, 18 minutes on the eastbound Beltline and 14 minutes in the westbound Beltline between University Avenue and the interstate. Heading out of Madison, 24 minutes from the Beltline to Janesville on I-3990, 19 minutes from Sauk City, Middleton to Sauk City on US 12, and 18 minutes from downtown to Sun Prairie. That's your news for now. First warn traffic.
Next at 5, raising awareness about some of the hurdles to getting mental health care on this World Mental Health Day.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times for sexual assault and harassment in the workplace. But he says
people love working at Michaels.
Women said they were groped, assaulted, and pressured to have sex with their bosses.
We have a great work culture.
Higher-ups called the women liars and fired those who spoke out. So when he says this,
we have a great work culture,
know that the culture comes from the top.
The house before you, over 30 years old, still has its original window. Boom.
There's no need to be afraid of old windows. Call Feldco for 50% off.
It's the biggest sale of the season. 50% off Feldco windows, plus no money down and no interest until 2024.
50% off windows ends soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Wells Fargo lets you know where you stand with your FICO credit score. What if you knew where you stood with everything? Like your future in-laws.
Hope you like cats.
I hope your parents like me. They're whispering.
The kitties like her.
Can they tell
I'm allergic?
Tears of joy.
Welcome to the family.
Like knowing where you stand? When it comes to your credit score, you can with Wells Fargo.
The Internet of Things is evolving, creating the Internet of You. And Spectrum, America's leading internet and mobile provider, is bringing you seamless connectivity across all your devices. Introducing Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet with speeds of 300 megabits, advanced Wi-Fi, and Spectrum Mobile Unlimited, all for just $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999. Spectrum Internet delivers speeds up to a gig with over 99.9% network reliability. Advanced Wi-Fi provides enhanced security and privacy that automatically blocks threats to protect all of your devices. And Spectrum Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and data with nationwide 5G and the most reliable service coast to coast. Switch now. Call 833-673-4999. At Spectrum, it's not just about connecting things, it's about connecting you. Get it all with Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and one line of Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999 or visit a Spectrum store today.
Reducing prison populations is now sexy. Reducing prison populations is now sexy.
Sexy? Mandela Barnes's administration has released over 800 criminals, including 44 child rapists. That's not sexy. It's terrifying. And as a mother, I don't want Mandela Barnes anywhere near the Senate. From defunding our police to releasing predators, Mandela Barnes is a threat to Wisconsin families.
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
And welcome back. 9 out of 10 adults in the U.S. believe there is a mental health crisis in this country. That's according to a recent poll.
And on World Mental Health Day, experts say it is time to erase stigma and raise awareness of these issues. 80% of those who took part in a recent poll say the cost of mental health care is a big problem. About 3/4 say that insurers not covering mental health the way they do physical health is a significant concern. And 63% are concerned about the lack of providers taking insurance.
People, I think, are really beginning to identify that mental health is just as important to address as physical health.
This summer, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline switched to a 3-digit number, 988. Early data suggests it's a success. Calls are up 45% in the first month compared with the same time a year before. A final check of your First Warn forecast when we come back.
Your John Deere is here. Get yours during Gear Up for Fall. Your new full-size, mid-size, or HPX Gator with 0% for 36 months. Get a John Deere now. And
Power up at Sloan's.
Get into a new Gator today. Test drive one today at Sloan's.
The women I see have been through brutal, unimaginable things. I'll never understand why politicians like Ron Johnson make it so hard for women. He supported the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade, outlawing abortion in Wisconsin. Even for victims of rape and incest, abortion is criminalized in Wisconsin. Doctors can be prosecuted. My most vulnerable patients will have nowhere to turn. Ron Johnson doesn't care about us. SMP is responsible for the content of this ad.
At McGann Furniture and Flooring in Baraboo, we know that hardworking people want the most value for their money. At McGann's, we've already sorted out and selected the brands that we feel offer you the most bang for your buck. From young couples to senior citizens, we offer a huge selection at prices that will fit your budget. And remember, at McGann's, we don't raise prices only to lower them later for a sale. Discover the difference at McGann Furniture and Flooring, downtown Baraboo.
Trust your feet to Morgan's Shoes.
Loa Footwear, a name synonymous with premium outdoor footwear for 80-plus years. Our patented mono-wrap construction wraps the foot in a lightweight yet firmly supportive frame. We use a softer polyurethane in our midsoles that provides better shock absorption and ultimate comfort underfoot. Plus, our patented Gore-Tex liner is more durable and creates a smoother fit, thus less potential for blisters or discomfort.
Comfort with style. Trust your feet to Morgan Shoes.
Morgan Shoes, Hilldale.
Save 11% on everything at Menards. Keep your home's exterior beautiful and protected with Cedar Creek vinyl siding. This low-maintenance siding withstands the elements and comes in 16 colors, ready to install. All 11% off. Let in the fresh air with Larson Storm Doors. The Lakeview Split View Storm Door comes equipped with screen-away retractable screens. Choose from over 20 Larson Storm Door styles in stock, all 11% off.
Save big money at Menards.
Welcome. We're so glad you're here. Looking for one of our most capable Ford SUVs? Okay, great. We've got you covered. Spacious interiors, innovative tech, good looks, and a legendary off-road experience. Check out our inventory today, or let us help you place a custom order. Getting into the perfect Ford SUV? Well, it's easier than ever. Yeah, we've got you covered. Now choose FlexBuy on a 2022 Ford Escape or Edge and get 0% financing for 66 months. Your John Deere is here. Get yours during Gear Up for Fall. Right now, get 0% for 84 months on a 1 Series. Get a John Deere now. And
Power up with Sloan's.
run with a 1 Family Series. Test drive one at Sloan's.
We've got a lot of news to cover tonight, including a new study out about the effectiveness of colonoscopies. Our Dr. John LaPook will join us to answer your questions. We've got that and all the day's news tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And Gary's back. Final check.
Live view from the Platteville Quimby Radio Skycam. Can't get much clearer than that. It'll be a beautiful sunset in the west in about an hour or so, or less than that. Current temperatures in the 50s close to Lake Michigan, mid-60s here in Madison, and still in the 70s to the west of Dane County.
All right, Gary, thanks. CBS Evening News is next. We'll be back in 30 minutes. For News 3 now at 6. Stay tuned.